Hey everyone, this is Nathan Williams with blackcurrant79.com, and today I am back with another hand history review for you guys. Today we're going to talk about spots with an overpair, getting a lot of action pre-flop, and let's get right into this hand. This hand was sent to me by Marcin from Canada, and he played this on Micro Gaming. This is a 10 cent, 20 cents, or actually that's euros, sorry. And it's 6 max. So Marcin has got pocket queens under the gun, so we'll see what happens here. So he raises it up to 2.5x, which is, pretty standard these days. Obviously got a great hand, pocket queens, got to raise that up. So we get called by Villain 2. Now, Villain 2, Marcin has described to me as basically just a fishy player. He didn't give me any stats, but I'm assuming that this guy's probably playing 40% of his hands, 50%, something like that. He's the mark at the table, essentially. And when I say mark, I mean that he's basically the reason that we're at the table. We always want to have position against the fish if possible, but, it's okay. As I talk about a million times on my blog, books, and everything, you always want to have one of these guys at the table. So action moves along to villain number 3 here, and this is the interesting player in this hand, because Marcin describes this guy to me as a 25-17 8.8. That is VPIP, PFR, and aggression factor. Now, if you want to know more about the HUD stats, I'll leave a link in the description below. But basically what that means is this guy is pretty laggy. 25% of hands is quite a bit for 6 max, and Marcin also said that this guy has a squeeze of 21% over 379 hands, so that is pretty insane as well. So normally in a spot like this, you'd want to give this guy a lot of credit. After all, we opened under the gun, and he is squeezing 2 players, so normally this looks like a really strong play, but basically we are up against what appears to be a sort of lag, loose and aggressive type player in this hand, so I think that most of the time we probably are ahead with queens here. Now, the crucial question in this hand, though, is does that mean we should raise or not? So we're just going to let the hand play out here. So all of the other players fold there. I looked over this hand before recording this video, and I really went back and forth a lot here. I'm actually going to disagree with the decision that Marcin made here to 4-bet. I don't think it's a bad decision, but the crucial factor for me is the fish in the hand, Villain 2. I think this is a pretty big point in poker, is just always wanting to keep the fish in the hand as much as possible. As I talked about before, it's the entire reason that we're at the poker table to begin with. So a lot of times, like I talk about in crushing the micro stakes, especially like at the lower limits, I actually really just like keeping the pot as small as possible, almost playing that small ball poker that I think Daniel Negreanu talks about. Basically, just what this does is it keeps the pot small, and it just allows you to exercise more of your post-flop edge, after the flop, obviously, where we have a massive advantage. We could keep the fish in the pot here. You could have stuff like queen jack. Well, it's hard for him to have queen jack, but he could easily make a worse top pair hand, is what I'm saying. He could make a top pair with a 10, or maybe he's got king 10 or something, and the flop comes 10 high. Well, this guy's going to stack off likely with a hand like that. So I love just keeping the fish in the pot as much as possible at the lower stakes. Now, I understand what Marcin's thinking here. Obviously, Villain 3, as we talked about before, he's a very laggy player. His range can be super wide. So I do think that this 4-bet is for value. But as we're going to see here, it does put us in a difficult spot. Now, that doesn't mean it's the 4-bet is wrong. I'm actually just going to roll through this hand here. We'll just see how it plays out. Now, this is basically one of the worst flops possible, and this was kind of Marcin's question here, is what should you do here? He was thinking about maybe bet folding to a shove. I mean, I think there's some merit to that, but I actually prefer the line that he does take, which is to check and fold to the bet. This is one of the worst flops possible for pocket queens. I mean, there's literally nothing at all we're beating. Yes, we block a few hands like ace queen or something like that, but I mean, I think you can I think that there is a bit of a trend lately in poker to sort of overthink blockers too much and go, oh my god, we block this. I mean, at the end of the day, this flop is terrible for queens. I mean, we can't beat anything. We can't beat any ace. We can't beat pot kings. Obviously, we're behind. We can't beat jacks or tens, which is something he could have. We can't beat jack 10. We can't beat. I mean, there's a lot of draws that you can. King queen obviously flop the nuts. There's a lot of heart draws and stuff like that, combo draws, stuff like that. So all in all, it's just really, really difficult to see a whole lot that we're beating unless he's, I mean, he's obviously going to have a couple bluffs from time to time. He will have a pocket sevens, pocket eights here from time to time. But I think for the most part, we can't really call here, obviously. Could we bet fold to a shove? I mean, again, there's some merit to that, but I think that this play is fine as well. But overall, my decision, my thinking of this hand is just to call the 3-bet pre-flop. Again, we know that we're ahead of villain 3's range, but I would just really like to keep villain 2 in the pot. And, as we go back through the hand, we know that, the 3-bet was to 260. So if we just call 260 in this spot, we put ourselves in a great position where if we get, the ace flop, the ace, or the king on the flop, and there's a lot of action, we get away for, a fairly cheap price. And like I said before, I think when we just call the 3-bet pre-flop, we put ourselves in a position where either one of these players can make a top pair with a jack or a 10 or a 9 or something and think that it's the nuts, and our hand is really well disguised and we can potentially win a big pot. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this hand. I think it's a super interesting spot. I'm sure that there's some people that will definitely disagree with my line and will prefer the 4-bet, and that's totally fine. Just give me let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also make sure you like the video if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out tons more videos like this all the time. And the last thing of all, make sure that you check out my free poker ebook below, Massive Profit of the Micros, where I give you my entire strategy on how to crush these stakes. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com.